Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Strong Collectors Podcast. I'm your host, Dakota, here with my co-host, Jordan, and today we're going to be talking about some of our 2023 wishes. So we had done a previous episode. You can go back in the corner here, click the link. We talked about some of our excitement for the leaks that we had seen last year, talked about some things that we thought were maybe likely to happen, and then some wishes that we had. This episode is going to be strictly wishes. Some of them maybe have a better chance of being made than others. Jordan and I both have some ideas that we don't think Hasbro will ever make, but you know, if we had our wishes come true, they would make them. So,
Right.
all right, Jordan, without any further ado, let's get into your number one.
Yes. And these are not in any particular order, right? We said
Right.
just kind of whatever. So, my first one that I was thinking of right away was the animated series Green Goblin, which I know we've talked about that coming. You had some feelings in the VHS 2-pack episode. It might be coming in a 2-pack. I don't hate the retro one, but I think they could do it more in the animated style, which is also more in the comic booky style. Get rid of those kind of googly eyes he's got that are just, it works, but not perfect. So I think it could definitely be improved on. And I think this one I could see is one of my more realistic ones, I think.
I think so too.
So
yeah,
that'd be a pick.
I think it's so realistic that I sold off my retro Green Goblin while he was high, because I think that 2-pack coming out that I assume is going to be coming is going to bring down the value of the retro, at least loose, like I had mine loose, so I sold them off. But anyway, I'll stick with the Norman Osborn desires and say that I want an updated Iron Patriot. So we had got one of these way back in the dark days of Hasbro, whether that was either the Ronin or Arnim Zola or Hitmonkey, something like that.
You said Arnim Zola?
I did say Arnim Zola. Our commenters have let me know that is his actual name, not Armin Zola, like the Arm & Hammer. But and even that's not even how I thought it was. But back to Iron Patriot. You know, Jordan, I've been kind of working on my Dark Avengers shelf. I've got Sentry now, thanks to you. I've got Ares. I've got a symbiote Spider-Man that I could use as my Venom. And we've got leaks that that Captain Marvel is going to be coming out, or whatever his name is, Marvel, or
the Protector Novar, I think.
Novar, right? Yep. And then I could go back and get some other characters, but anyway, Iron Patriot is probably high up on that list. And I think he's actually pretty likely too, because we all know how Hasbro likes to put out an Iron Man with every other wave. So eventually they're going to come back around to needing to make an Iron Patriot.
Wouldn't it basically just be the Extremis Iron Man, but painted?
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, that seems pretty likely to me, because that's an easy new figure that is already a mold they have.
Right. So. And it could come with a Norman Osborn head, or if it doesn't, then we could always go back and get that retro Green Goblin head, or hopefully your VHS 2-pack Green Goblin comes with a Norman Osborn head, and then you can kind of make a Iron Patriot holding his helmet. So
I think people would go for that. I think that would be a good one.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
I agree.
I thought of that. So we're just going back and forth here?
Yeah, we can go back and forth.
All right. So my other pick, staying on the vein of Spider-Man, maybe the animated series, would be the Man Spider updated, obviously. So I believe he first appeared in the animated series and then appeared in comics subsequently. He looks a little different. The OG Toy Biz Spider-Man Classics one is kind of a mix of both designs, which I do love that design. Because I think in the comics is when he's kind of part human, part spider. The show, he was like full on a giant spider. So I don't know, any kind of update of that figure I'd be happy with. I don't know if we'd get him in the 2-packs, just because I imagine if they did him right, he'd be pretty big.
Maybe a deluxe retro card.
Yeah, that'd be, I don't know. I just don't think it's likely. I'd love it.
Yeah.
I think I've seen people talk about it. So I wouldn't say it's quite pie in the sky, but I don't think we're going to get it this year. But if we did, I'd be very happy.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. It's not impossible, but it is going to be I would be very surprised if Hasbro announces it. So I'll stick with my Dark Avengers theme, and I'm gonna say I wish that Hasbro would make a Ms. Marvel in that Dark Avengers costume, because we've gotten like a lot of like Captain Marvel MCU figures. We've gotten that like Warbird from the 3-pack. There's not really a ton of Captain Marvel like Carol Danvers figures out there.
Yeah.
And I don't think this one is too crazy. Like, I mean, sometimes she's got the pretty skimpy outfits, but this one's, I don't know, not the most modest, but it's usable. Better than Emma Frost for sure. And we've gotten that. So I would like to see that. I've seen one of the guys I think doing a sale or trade with.
That's where it's Moonstone as Miss Marvel, right? Is that what you're talking about? Okay.
Yes. Yeah, correct. And I've seen some pretty good customs of this. So I think now that Hasbro has the new female body molds, I could see this one being somewhat likely.
You're making me want to go back and read the Dark Avengers comics. I remember really liking those.
Yeah, I have it in my it's in my library for Marvel Unlimited right now. I don't know when I'll get to it, but I definitely want to get back and reread that because I remember it was pretty fun.
I know. Those are cool comics. Nice.
So, I wouldn't be too upset if we got like a Warbird, like the like black with the big S on it. Because then she'd go on my Mighty Avengers shelf too. But I think I would prefer to complete my Dark Avengers.
I see. That'd be cool. I hadn't considered that one.
Because then the only other ones I would be missing, if the leaks are true, we get Novar. I could go back and get the old Son of Wolverine deck, and then that would pretty much complete my team. I would like a new one of him, but I could just get the old one. It's okay.
But we know how they love to put out Wolverines. So.
That's true too.
You might even get a symbiote Spider-Man.
That's true.
Literally the exact same, maybe like slightly different highlights.
Right. All right, Jordan, what's your next?
Well, I promise this is my last Spider-Man related figure, but I still want my battle damage Spidey.
Yeah.
So you know, last year I had my vision for the ultimate deluxe Spidey.
Right.
I figured I'd switch it up, not do the exact same wish because I don't know. I thought I'd get a little more specific. And the battle damage, similar to the OG Spider-Man Classics Toy Biz look. I think you could do some cool things because you could give him like alternate heads with variations, you know, like one where it's half his mask, one where it's like an eye shattered. I just love this look. I think it's such a cool kind of, I loved when I first saw a comic like that. And I was like, whoa, Spider-Man is beat up, you know, like in the Torment McFarlane years. Because he'd always get beat up, but he'd get like a little tear on his costume. So this one was like, whoa, he's been through it. And a lot of writers or artists took from that afterwards. So I've seen people ask for this. I've seen custom heads. Do I think it's likely? I don't know. It'd be cool.
Yeah,
but I don't think you'd get it in the animated series line. It'd have to be like I don't even know what it'd be. Would it be a retro? Would it be a single pack?
It is hard to find a place to fit that in. But I don't think, like, just like everything else, they love doing Spider-Man. So it's the only issue I think you run into is the sculpting and the new tooling, or like, you know, that'd be a lot of new parts.
Maybe they'll just make me a Man Spider Battle Damage Spider-Man 2-pack.
Dakota's like, probably,
keep dreaming.
That's a little pie in the sky to get a 2-pack like that, but that would be cool.
About as much chance as a Ghost Rider has Lab.
Oh, ouch.
Too soon?
I don't think anybody here is gonna mind. All right. I'll go from my Dark Avengers into the X-Men. If I've said it once, I've probably said it close to 100 times. I want a Jim Lee Sabretooth. I think it's a matter of time before we get it. It just seems like Hasbro is dragging their feet on delivering. So whether it's a Build-A-Figure, whether it's a deluxe, whether it's a deluxe retro card, I would spend $50 on a Sabretooth, I think. Like if he was in the like Mojo style like, the Mojo or the Modoc, that kind of deluxe. I don't think he's quite big enough to be that big. Sometimes, like in the cartoons, he was pretty massive, but I don't need him that big. Like if he was the same size as like the movie Venom, that's about big enough, I would say.
Well, you've always talked about
right,
wanting him on the Caliban body.
right. So technically that's a Build-A-Figure, which could go in the deluxe retro cards. And I don't think I guess they just did the Apocalypse. So, but have they done any other deluxe X-Men blisters? I don't think so.
So that would make sense. I mean, like with Spidey, they have they have Rhino, they did Kingpin. So you could have like, oh, these are our deluxe X-Men retro cards. That I think is the most likely way for him to come out.
And I guess the only the part that makes that sort of unlikely is these other deluxe retro cards have all just been repaints. Like Kingpin is just a repaint of the Build-A-Figure. Same with Rhino. Like really not much new in those packages. Where if you were
was new, right?
Nah, he was. I think.
Is he the same as the old one?
I think he might be. He's at least super similar to the deluxe, like the Age of Apocalypse.
Oh yeah,
like he is a little bit different. Like the other one didn't have tubes and stuff, but and the like cannon hand, but it's a lot of the same stuff. So that would be the only where it's like not 100% chance of it, but I think it's I mean they have to know that people want a Jim Lee Sabretooth, so it's coming at some point.
I almost put this one on my list too, but I knew you'd be wishing for it for us, so I figured I'd let you take that one.
Makes sense.
But yeah, I would definitely like to see that. The Apocalypse one looks cool. It's just too small. Doesn't cut it. So I agree. I'd like to see a new one, and I think he'd be a good addition to your X-Men for sure. All right, mine. Now this one, I'm not even sure if this can legally happen, but you know what I'm gonna pick?
I don't think so.
A Marvel Legends Conan the Barbarian.
Oh.
Now I don't totally know the rights because I know Marvel had the rights, and then like Dark Horse had the rights, and then somehow they shared with Marvel. But then Conan just recently, I think, entered public domain.
Oh.
So I could be totally wrong on that. I should have probably researched it. Sorry if I'm way off. I need the Conan experts to tell me. But he was just in the most recent or current Savage Avengers. I don't know if you've read that. I think you'd like the Savage Avengers. It's like Elektra as Daredevil, Conan, and Agent Anti-Venom. I think Deathlock gets involved in there. And then that guy who's the combination of Wolverine and Hulk. Where he's just a big gray Hulk with Wolverine paws.
Oh yeah, you told me to get that at Comic-Con, right? That Weapon H or something.
H. He just seems right up your alley to me. But I don't know. I think I have the Legendary Heroes, the older one, which again, it's cool for nostalgia. He's sculpted well, but it's just scale and articulation is not really there. I don't really even love, like, I've seen that Mezco, not in person, and then there's this Super 7, right?
Yep.
I think, and both of those look fine, but I wouldn't be willing to pay that price for what it looks like you're getting, and I don't even know if they're what I want. So I think you can make a cool Conan, give him a couple heads, maybe some bunch of weapons, sword, axe, dagger. You give him a cloak or something. I think you could do, Marvel Legends could do really well. I just don't know if they can legally. So it'd be cool though. I would buy that immediately.
I almost feel like that would maybe be cooler as a Mayfex, just because like if you're going to get the like cloak and then like the articulation, I guess it could be. Marvel Legends could do a decent job. I worry about them sometimes.
Sometimes they turn in great homework, and sometimes they didn't fill out the page.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. No. I think that'd be a cool one. And I think people would be pretty excited. And like that would bring in people from like more than just Marvel Legends to want to collect Conan.
I would put him in with my Legions. I think that'd be a cool display, having Conan fighting some Legion skeletons or something.
Yeah. I mean, I know a lot of people use like that Mezco Conan, and they usually have Balius the horse is kind of Conan's horse, and then like the skeletons or the goblins kind of fighting Conan. So yeah, I think that would be pretty cool.
All right.
I'm gonna stick with my X-Men, and I'm gonna want
X-Men. Save us.
Yeah. If you listen to our last hot takes, you know Jordan's sick of the X-Men.
God save us from the X-Men. All right.
No, I want a classic Magneto. So maybe you're saying, Dakota, just go back and get the love, or not the love triangle, the Family Matters 3-pack Magneto.
The Family Love Pack.
Yeah. No,
Wait, no.
And like that is probably your best bet. I don't think I've ever actually had that Magneto. I've had I think the Jubilee Wave one, and I've had the Apocalypse Wave one where he's kind of more the black
the Jubilee
and red.
Wave one again?
I think that's just like it's the same, yeah, purple and red. Okay. But it's just,
I'm trying to think which one I've had then, because
I think that's the one you've had. I think. I don't remember. But
it looks pretty similar to the Family Matters, right?
Yeah. I think it's just a little bit updated articulation on the Family Matters. So yeah, I would like that. You know, again, like I know Mafex has this one, and like the cape is going to be better on a Mafex, but like I think as long as you just do like a decent enough articulation with the cape, like where you can still move his arms.
Well, he's not like a cloak where it's like wrapping around him, which is nice.
More on his back, but like yeah, if I could have some like power effects on his hands, kind of like in the beginning of the intro to the animated series where he's kind of does the like and then whatever that effect would be. I know like what was it, the ones with the crazy expensive He-Mans, Mondo did a Magneto, which came with pretty cool effects. Just I'm not spending that much for a ginormous Magneto like that. So yeah, again, round out some of my more classic, which I thought he was going to be coming with the VHS style, which would have made a lot of sense. Like he would be pretty cool cell shaded. I don't think
he's literally like the main bad guy in that show.
Exactly. But instead we
got intro, he's right in the middle.
Yeah,
Mr. Sinister, come on.
Yeah, I mean, I think Mr. Sinister is supposed to be playing a bigger part in the new cartoon coming up, so that's probably why they did that. Still, that Mr. Sinister was not great, and Magneto would have sold probably way better. But you know, who am I? Who am I to tell Hasbro what to do?
You're Dakota Phillips of the Strong Collectors podcast.
Very true.
Come on.
Listen.
I also thought about Magneto because I would like one of him, but again, I was like, kind of thinking you might have this one. So you're wishing for both of us. I would like to see a Magneto. I'm tempted to just want an old school Toy Biz style removable helmet. I think that'd be kind of fun. I just love that effect. Or alternate, like, would you want alternate capes to give him like a different kind of cape, or would you just want one molded in?
That's a good question.
Then you have to deal with the question of, does the cape fall off when you pose it?
It probably would. So that does
make me kinda... cool, couldn't it, to have like a regular cape and then like a billow,
side billow? Yeah,
because Magneto is one character where you kind of need his cape to billow a little bit because he's always flying around and looking cool.
True.
So
I mean, maybe that's one where you just pick up a custom wired cape for
maybe
$10-15, and then it's like, then you don't want it keyed in because then it's harder to remove. You just want to like pop it off and toss it. So
I would love a new Magneto, and I could see that. I think he would go well because it does seem like they've been giving us the kind of classic villains, with Red Skull, Zemo, Ultron, Loki, Ultron, like Kang, giving you sort of those iconic supervillain looks. So I could see that one, and I would like it. My next pick, I think, is pretty likely. Well, I don't know if it's likely, actually. Maybe it'd be a new Man-Thing. Now, I know, but the Build-A-Figure was several years ago.
Yeah.
And you do have the new show. I would even take an MCU Man-Thing because I think in the show he looks pretty spot on to his comic appearance. So I don't think that would be one of the MCU figures I think could fit in your comic displays as well as your MCU ones.
Yeah.
But I could I think see him as like a deluxe. Yeah. Or a Build-A-Figure. I don't know. Either way, I'd rather it be a deluxe, so in case the wave is a bunch of other MCU stuff, but I don't know. Maybe because is that one still going pretty high? on the aftermarket. I don't know.
I think it's kind of cooled off a
It
little
went
bit.
up, but
yeah, it's not quite as high as it was when like the Werewolf by Night first came out.
Still in that like 80 range, right?
I would think it's maybe that's like the high end. But again, I haven't looked it up. I'll put up a picture of it on whatever the current eBay listings are right now. I'll put it up here.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could see that being, I don't think it's maybe likely for 2023,
right.
But I think it's likely in the future for sure. Like, especially if he shows up in some more stuff, it's like, yeah, they're definitely going to give us something with him.
Yeah. And especially with the popularity of that special, I think people like that quite a bit. So,
yeah.
You know me, I'm a sucker for my monsters, so keep them coming.
This one, my next one is going to be one that I think we've kind of speculated that is pretty likely is a new Dreadknight. Really, same with the Iron Patriot. You don't really need to do a whole lot of work with this one. Just give me a repaint. And this one, I even wouldn't mind if they went a little cheaper on the plastic, just so it's not so brittle. If it was a little bit more flexible, so his leg. Again, I sold mine before his leg exploded. That body mold is not good. So I got rid of it because I was like, this is way too expensive to keep around if his leg just
blow up,
snaps. So fix that QC issue and then give me a new Dreadknight so I can put him on my shelf and keep him, because I would like to have him. I, again, don't know the character even at all. I think maybe it's like a descendant of, not descendant, but like go back a few generations of Black Knight.
I was reading about Dreadknight actually in my Marvel Encyclopedia today.
Oh, school me, Jordan.
So yeah, he was working. I think he's a count of some kind or something. No, he had a Helsing last name, so I think he has some connection to like the monster world.
Okay.
But he was working with Doctor Doom, and he did something to slight Doctor Doom, so he put a hot metal mask on his face, and that's why he's got that helmet. But it's like Doom did it to punish him, and then he left. And then I'm pretty sure he somehow teamed up with like a Dr. Frankenstein type, and then built like a flying robot horse and a lance and just runs around. I think it said he kind of wants revenge on Doctor Doom, but it sounds like he's just shooting people with his laser lance.
Okay.
I mean, if I got a hot metal mask welded to my face,
yeah, I'd be pretty upset.
I don't know if I'd go right to building a robot horse, but
want some sort of revenge.
Everybody copes in their own ways, I guess. But yeah, I think that'd be cool. I think even reading that made me like, oh, he's kind of a cool, weird character. That would be fun.
I mean, if he came with a flying horse too.
Ooh. Mechanical.
I think
Robo horse.
Maybe that's for another episode, but I would like to see a Mythic Legions like Pegasus. So
who knows? Yeah, that'd be a good one. Again, and then you were thinking that would come on those Iron Man retro cards.
Exactly, because I mean, so far we've only got
he was in that show, right?
Right. Yes. Yeah. He was like one of the main villains in the Iron Man animated series. So that makes me think that I mean, they've got to be doing more stuff with that Iron Man retro card. Otherwise, why make it for? Because I think the only thing that's come on that is that War Machine and that repainted Iron Man with the giant cannon. So that's only two things. So there's got to be more coming out with that.
Yeah, I definitely think so.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to stick with monsters.
Okay.
And I'm going to go with spinning out of Man-Thing, a new Werewolf by Night.
Yeah.
Again, I almost wouldn't be upset. I'd be curious what the MCU one would be like, but I would kind of. It's just so hard though with the monsters to know how they'd package them.
I feel like it'd be like an exclusive or something.
Yeah, but I think you could do a cool. I mean, you could even do like, I don't know, because the old one is kind of that classic. He's just got the green pants and that's it. You could do something like that. You could maybe retool it, give him like some, I don't know, like a torn shirt or something. I don't know, things like that. Do I think that will happen this year? Probably not. But I would maybe it'd be a Man-Thing Werewolf 2-pack. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
MCU.
I would cool.
Actually love that.
Probably put that in like the $75 price range, I'm guessing.
I think I'd buy that. I
Nice.
definitely buy that. But
Yeah.
so maybe I'm combining two of my wishes into a super
Into a
wish that
2-pack.
comes out around Halloween, so I can have it for my October display.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. Like, same with Man Thing. Like, that show was pretty popular. I would think Hasbro saw that and they're like, oh, this seems like they're going to be using these characters again. Let's try to get some figures out. And
well, it just makes no sense to like have the only Werewolf by Night is the one from 2006 or something.
right.
Like,
Yeah.
come on.
Yeah.
So yeah, that'd be cool, I think.
All right. I will stick sort of with a monster, I guess. And I'm going to say, and I've said this a few times before too, when we were talking about the HasLab, I would like an updated Blackheart. Now, the Toy Biz one is fine. He's decent, but Toy Biz gets a little loose in the joints, and he was always kind of hard to stand up. I think this one would be
bendy wire tail.
Yeah, again, that bendy wire tail doesn't
that goes like this when you bend
yep. It's either straight or almost straight.
it.
So we could get something better there.
Yeah.
And I don't know if this would be kind of that, because that Toy Biz one was kind of that like skinnier Blackheart, but then Blackheart is also kind of drawn as like a pretty buff, like
Yeah.
not quite like Hulk like, but like
Bigger.
pretty big. So I think I would prefer more of the skinnier one, but I don't know. That's I wouldn't be opposed to something bigger too, and that would probably be in a deluxe. Maybe it would be a build a figure, but
yeah, I think it's like a regular figure would not do that one justice.
Right.
I think. So
no, I don't think so either. It would have to be something a little bit more beefy.
And that'll go great with your Mephisto from the HasLab.
Oh.
Yeah, that was another one that I kind of was like, that'd be cool. I don't know. I think you have more of an attachment to Blackheart than I do. I do
Even
think
though
he
I've
looks
read
cool.
nothing with him in it,
I
really.
know. I loved him in the Marvel or versus Capcom game as a kid. I always liked his character, but I would think about getting him.
Yeah.
Maybe he could happen.
He's unique, at least.
He is. He's definitely unique.
Be a good monster for your shelf.
I know. They'd go well with all of my creatures. Okay, so my next one, I want a classic Adam Warlock. So
Interesting.
I'm talking OG, with the like red cape and the little almost, I don't know, Speedo looking thing with his little brooch that's a skull and the staff and all that. I think you can make him pretty cool. I think I mean they have that because I guess Legends has done two, right? They did I don't remember which wave in the early Hasbro days, but he's pretty tiny. I've seen him before. He's kind of small.
Probably Ronin wave, I would assume.
That makes sense. And I don't love the newer one that has like the modern look. So my thought would be with the new movie coming out, do they want to capitalize on an interest because he's going to be in the Guardians coming out in May? So, but it could be they're doing some kind of more obscure, not obscure, but less mainstream comic book characters, like with Earth's cosmic comic characters like Star-Lord and Yondu. So maybe we'll throw in a Warlock. Could give him a gauntlet that he comes with. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
If we were really dreaming, he'd get a little Pip the Troll.
Yeah.
But he'd probably come as a single pack figure.
Yeah. Either that or they'd call it a 2-pack.
Yeah. I would be more satisfied with that being called a 2-pack. But I mean, I don't know. I just think that'd be really cool. So I could see this one. Probably not this year, but maybe at some point.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna keep wishing for it.
Yeah, I bet it's coming too. I mean, like you said, I mean, maybe we get an MCU one first, but then I could see a classic comic one coming down the line too. All right. Next up on my list, get into the Hulks. I would like a red She-Hulk. I think because I've got the red Hulk. He's very high on my list of favorite all time.
He's like a top like 3, right?
Yeah, I think he was my number one last year. We got to redo because we're coming up on this upcoming month is going to be 1 year of doing this podcast. So we've got to redo our top 10 to see what's changed.
We do a 1 year celebration.
Definitely.
Episode.
So yeah, I've got red Green Hulk. I've got green She-Hulk. I need a red She-Hulk. So, and I think, there's a few different costumes for her. I don't necessarily have a preference on how she comes because like she kind of comes a little bit more like savage at the beginning, but then she kind of like tames it down, is a little bit more in control. But I think having her come with like a giant blaster or something like that, because she kind of uses a little bit more weapons as a Hulk. So I think that would be kind of fun. And we got one of these, I think it was in the Fin Fang film wave. Maybe maybe not.
A red Hulk?
Yeah, red She-Hulk. Yeah, there is one of them. It's kind of older. I don't think it's
that old.
No, not Fin Fang film, but because I think maybe it was her and it was like one of those where it's like a double like Titana and her, but I think Titana was with Valkyrie or something like that. But one of those where it's like this or that kind of character. Maybe I'll see if I can find a picture to put up here, but I almost got one at one point, but I was like, that's going to be old articulation. I don't really want it too bad. They could do better. So I'm going to say a red She-Hulk.
Very nice. I haven't seen too much chatter on that, but that was a cool storyline. I like that one quite a bit. So, well, I will go with another female figure, and I will say I'd like to see an Elsa Bloodstone.
I thought about that too.
Yeah, I think this one more in my mind because of the Man-Thing or Werewolf special. I thought she was cool in that. I like the concept of having like a Monster Hunter character that's not Blade, you know? So, not there's anything wrong with Blade, but I think I like that she has that connection to, obviously all the monster world and the Legion of Monsters. So I'm always trying to plug in connections to the Legion of Monsters, but
I feel you.
Because that old one still goes for like 60, doesn't it?
I think more? At least, it might be more if it's complete because she comes with like 3 different weapons at least.
So I think it'd be cool. You'd give her the bloodstone, some stakes, a sword, a crossbow, and a whole bunch of stuff.
I like it because the last one came with like a shotgun, a rifle, and a pistol.
Right.
So
I'd want more I'd want more Monster Hunter. I mean, you could give her a pistol too, just for fun, but more Monster Hunter stuff. But I think that character has a decent following. I mean, as far as the monster nerds go. So it'd be another cool female figure. Would kind of be synergy with the MCU. So I think that'd be cool.
Yeah, you're gonna have to send me some stuff to read with her in it because I tried to look on Marvel Unlimited, but didn't see anything really.
I have one series I could, I'll tell you.
Cool.
Look them up.
All right. All right. Next up, so sticking with my Hulk wishes, I would like an A-bomb. So this is kind of from that same series where Red Hulk first comes in, and like Rick Jones is kind of like this armadillo abomination crossover. So I think this would be pretty cool. I don't know if they have anything right now to really like just do like a repaint simple thing for A-bomb. Maybe using like Armadillo's like back piece, but I kind of hope they don't. I just like it to be like a fully sculpted.
Yeah, I could see if they just did a new comic abomination, retooling that into an A-bomb. A little bit, where like, he has the more ridges.
Right.
But yeah, that would be a cool one. I think people would go for that because they always love their, bigger Hulk-like figures. And like we kind of said, that was a cool storyline. I thought for a second you were going to say Thunderbolt Ross or something.
No, I don't care about him.
No interest?
He's a human. I don't need just some human in a
but you could
army
pose
costume
with your Hulks.
Yeah, but I'll just keep my Red Hulk, and then he's right there. All I need. Yeah, A-bomb
cool. Might be a good investment piece though, because he's supposed to be played by Harrison Ford in the Thunderbolts movie.
True.
So
still probably pass.
I'd still pass. All right. So my next one is another blood-related character. I don't know if you know who this is, Dakota, but it's Baron Blood. Have you heard of him?
I feel like I've heard of him, but it also
He's
sounds like a Spawn character to me.
he's basically like, I remember him from, there's a Captain America storyline from the 80s called War and Remembrance,
Mm.
where part of the storyline is Captain America, they want him to run for president, which I always thought was cool. But then he goes to Europe, and this Baron Blood, he'd fought, I think, the invaders like in the 40s. I don't know if it's the same one or if he passed on his power, but Cap re-encounters him. But he's basically like a vampire, of course, but he's got this purple suit with like fin wings and like a Wolverine looking. He just looks so ridiculous,
Oh, he does look ridiculous.
like absurd. But I think it's just so funny that he's a vampire and chooses to dress that way and fight people. I I don't know. Maybe unlikely, but I could see it as like a one of those C-list villains that are just like, let's just throw him out there.
That would be unique on your shelf for sure.
He'd be unique. So I'd like Baron Blood. Probably unlikely, but eventually they have to get. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 monster related characters, so
One
at
of them
least
has to
one
come
of
true.
them's got to stick, right? So, yeah.
All right, my next. We're gonna get back into the X-Men, but this is a little bit less. I don't think it's gonna happen. I'd like it to happen, but I'm not gonna hold my breath. I'd like a new classic Sentinel, similar to the Toy Biz Build-A-Figure. And
In that scale?
It doesn't even have to be quite that big. I would like it to be larger, and that's kind of where it's like Hasbro, like unless they start doing some like different HasLabs, I don't see where this fits into their line, because I don't need something as big as the HasLab Sentinel, even though that's like technically, yeah, probably closer to scale with the X-Men. But I don't want something as small as like the Ironmonger 2-pack sized Sentinel. So like, I'd want something in the middle, like maybe like a few inches smaller than the Toy Biz. I mean, if it was the same size as the Toy Biz, I'd be pretty happy with that too. Like if they would do like
So
a
even
smaller,
if it was like a 9 to 12 inch figure, that would not.
And I think if they would
do
like I said, like a cheaper HasLab where it's like this Sentinel is going to be the same size as the Toy Biz, but it's gonna cost $100 rather than $500. I'd be like, sweet, I'll take, I don't know, at least one. I want to say 3, but that might be a bit excessive. But that'd be so much more easy to like for people to like be able to get that versus the giant one, and it's going to be able to fit on your shelves, because like I can fit one HasLab in here and that's it. Like he's up on top, and I can't really do another one without giving up 3 shelves. So I don't need that big.
I'd like to see that. Yeah, my question would be, how do they fit that in? You'd almost have to conceive of like a new product,
Right.
like, is it like a deluxe with a smaller figure, or is it just a single? I don't know. But I think that'd be cool, and I think that'd be smart for them, especially just because the HasLab, it is a big investment. So like if you had a bigger investment, but it's not quite a HasLab, you'd probably get more people on
And that's
board.
the thing is, like, HasLab is a fantastic idea, but it's not super sustainable, where it's like, oh, we're going to put out a new HasLab, even if it's 1 per year. But like if you collect like the Marvel Legends, Transformers, G.I. Joe, and any other like HasLabs that they're putting out, it's like, okay, but yeah, why 1 turned into 4 per year, and how many years can I do this until like I just have ginormous toys? And if you have like an entire basement to display, maybe you've got the room for that. But like I said, 1 HasLab is plenty for me. And like I've got our other HasLab box over here that I just keep like pushing around in the room because it takes up so much space. You kind of got to put something out that's a little bit smaller, I think, to make it more viable to continue down the road. Otherwise, I think if they don't do that, I think the HasLabs just entirely are probably going to die off, because like they'll do smaller stuff with like or like, smaller, bigger stuff with Power Rangers. Like they have bigger Zords that come out. Give me a Sentinel in that same scale. Right. Exactly.
Makes sense.
That's what I'm saying.
All right. I would like an updated classic Bucky.
Yeah.
So 1940s World War II style. Because they really only have that one that I think is Brood
Yep.
Wave.
Broodwave.
And I've seen that one in person for really cheap, and I almost bought it, but it was kind of just like, this is too terrible to buy, even for $10. Like, it's just not good at all. So it's the same body as that Patriot. Remember from the
Yep.
yeah.
The
So
Young Avengers.
yeah, I think you can make a cool Bucky that would go really well, I think, with the 20th cap.
Yeah.
You know, you could make a pretty sweet scene, I think, with him, Cap, Red Skull, and Zemo, and then maybe some goons or something. I don't know. I think that'd be cool.
I think, would you put
I
him
mean,
on, like, I mean, you'd have to do a little bit of extra tooling, but put him on the same, like, maybe body or size as the Amazing Fantasy.
I was
It's
thinking
kind of
more
that, like,
like yeah. How
kind
big
of
is Speedball? Is he smaller?
I don't
I
have
think he
any
should be.
idea.
I don't know if I've seen
I
him in
don't think
person.
he's smaller.
Okay.
Thought
I
he's
mean,
like
I
an
think
adult
Speedball should
size.
be, but I was just thinking of character wise, be similar to that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wouldn't even mind if it was in the scale of like that. You'd almost have to put him with something else then, though, if he's too small. But like the DCUC original Robin that I
Yeah.
have, I like that scale with Batman. So I
Yeah.
think a similar scale with Cap would be cool.
I
But
know a lot of people have been wanting like a updated kid body.
yeah,
So I mean, you know, if we got the Bucky cap, and we can just give it like a
well, yeah,
Bucky kid mold.
right. And then you could start using that for
Power
other,
pack and
right, or like Young Avenger type characters.
yeah.
I don't know. I think there'd be some application to that, and I don't think it would be totally outside the realm of happening.
Yeah.
But I could see that one coming at some point here, just
Right.
since the only one is that really old one that is really not good.
Yeah. All right. So now all you have left is your pie in the sky stuff, right?
I do.
Okay. So I'll do like an impromptu number 10, and then I've got one that's like very pie in the sky.
Okay.
So the other one that I would like would be and this is one that I've kind of been like, I lay awake in bed thinking at night, like, how would they do this? Is an armor from the Astonishing X-Men. Because how would they do that, Jordan? Because it's like a figure within like a shell of another larger figure. How are you going to do the articulation where it's like,
could you pop the back out and like slide it in and pop the back in?
But then can you still move the larger figure? Because it's going to be like the arm, the elbows aren't going to be where the elbows should be. So it's, you know, it's kind of like a tooling conundrum there. And it's
that's an engineering question that I don't know if I have the answer to, but
maybe when we get Dwight on the show,
we'll
be
say,
like, Dwight, how would you do this? Is this even remotely possible? Get him thinking about it.
That'd be cool. I like it. That'd be fun.
All right, you want to do one of your pie? How many pie in the skies you got?
I just had two that I thought were crazy.
Right, you do one, I got one, and then you do your last one.
Okay, mine. You know, I'm gonna plug away at this, but Frankencastle.
Yep.
It's not gonna happen. It was on my list last year. I'm gonna keep putting it on my list for the next 10 years until they do it. I think it'd be so cool, man. I think it'd be the coolest Marvel Legends wave ever if he was a Build-A-Figure. Not gonna happen, but
and then it came with your Werewolf by Night and your Elsa Bloodstone as figures.
If you had a wave with Elsa Bloodstone, Baron Blood, Werewolf by Night, Manfib, that is one wave I would be like, I'm gonna buy it all at once, right away. But yeah, that one would be sweet. You still need to read those, don't you?
I do. I haven't read them yet.
Now you got unlimited. Just hop on.
All right, another one you could read on Marvel Unlimited, Jordan. I want an issue number 2 and 3, 1998 Marvel Avengers. Like, this is when Morgan Le Fay kind of like takes over reality, turns everybody into like knights and kind of that medieval kind of look. I want all of my Avengers team in medieval. Knights? Yeah. Like Cap is a knight. You got some of them are a little bit more like, I don't know, they're not like knights, but just kind of that same like
that era.
Right. So you got it's like a Robin Hood style Hawkeye. I would like those. Those would be super cool.
That sounds fun. I need to. Is that one on Unlimited?
Yep, it is. I I couldn't find any of the pictures online really, so I had to go on Marvel Unlimited and like take some screenshots of the comics. Not sure the legality of that, but you know, don't report us, folks. Yeah, I would love like a whole wave or like a whole like that. I would almost wish like Mythic Legions would be like, all right, we've had enough of doing Motu tribute figures. Now we're gonna do Marvel figures. That would be sweet. So
that would be fun. Because those customs that I've seen are really cool.
Those are sweet. So
I think like the Doctor Doom or Spawn.
Probably never going to happen, but I can dream.
No, man can dream. So my last one, as I was flipping through my Marvel encyclopedia trying to get inspired for this, I found the ultimate monster Halloween character, and it is the character Hell Cow.
Hell Cow.
Basically, it's a storyline where Dracula, I think, comes to this town and everyone like finds a way to barricade themselves in. So then he attacks this cow and it becomes like a thrall of Dracula, and it has like a cape and runs around.
That's funny.
Which I just think is so absurd. And I was like, you know what? That's one character that would be a total gimmick, but I'd be like, that's cool. That's funny. I like it.
That is. I would love to see Marvel Legends tackle the Hell Cow.
So I'll have to find you some pics of Hell Cow and send them to you. But
yeah,
it's just like as you go through the encyclopedia, I don't know if you have one of those or if you've seen those before, but it's just like there are so many characters that I'm just like they could really go for a while with a lot of these obscure, ridiculous ones. So,
and I'd like to see them like bring some of those into like more modern comics. Just like have a modern comic of like characters you never see. It's like Hell Cow is like the main bad guy, or there's a good guy, whatever. He's on the team.
Well, that's kind of what they did with like Groot, because Groot appeared in like the 60s as like this giant earth destroying monster, and then I think they reinvented him in the comics, which translated to the movies. So
and now he's up there with like just as popular as Captain America and Iron Man.
Yeah, most everybody knows Groot. So
yeah.
Maybe Hell Cow in 10 years will be like, man, he's really a thorn in the Avengers side, isn't he?
That would be awesome.
Avengers 16, The Revenge of Hell Cow.
One can dream.
The tagline would be, this one sucks.
Oh, there you go. I like it. Oh, man. We should, once we start writing for Marvel, we're going to start putting in some of these characters a little more frequently.
It's like, come on, you guys. What are you doing?
All right. Well, let us know in the comments what some of your wishes to see in Marvel Legends would be, whether they're likely or not, if they're as likely as an Iron Patriot or as likely as a Hell Cow. We'd love to hear some of your ideas, or if you just know some other crazy characters that Marvel has created, and maybe that could be another episode. It's just like people forgot these were Marvel characters, and have stuff like Hell Cow in there, because I think that'd be pretty fun.
Like top 5 obscure Marvel Legends you could make or something.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. Love it.
So leave us a comment down below. We'll respond to everything. Make sure you are liking, sharing, and subscribing. We're working on another giveaway right now, so we'll give you some more details on that once we get it a little bit more finalized. But like with our other giveaways, all you have to do to enter is make sure you're subscribed. And until next time, stay strong.